Hello everybody, welcome to Wolfeei. Today we're going to be talking about MCC Twitch Rivals NA 2024. This event happened yesterday. I did a whole watch party with Sandwich Lord. I'll promo this in a bit as well. And it was really cool. I really liked it. Spoiler alert, obviously. In this video, I will be talking about people's performances and who won, etc, etc, etc. So if you haven't watched the event yet and you're, someone who doesn't want to get spoiled, then don't watch this video just yet. However, you can watch my watch party if you want to experience the full event with me and Sandwich Lord, because that was really fun, as mentioned, and I think it's a fun watch party. There was a lot of funny moments in there based on like what was happening, and some of the people's performances and moments during the event were great. The watch party didn't like have every single moment. There were some things that happened that we missed. But post-event, I found out stuff about it. For example, Tubbo. He's a silly little goober. We love Tubbo. Anyways, fantastic event, and we're going to be doing a review of it right now. So, before we get into it, though, two things I want to promote. Number one, I just posted a main channel video. Please go watch it. There will not be a link in the description, but if you go to this current channel, Wolfeei Extras, on the main page of the Wolfeei Extras channel, my main channel is linked. Please go watch it. I don't really upload much. I want to try to get into uploading much more, but for that I do need some support because getting my editing software open and motivation to edit is difficult. Okay, but I'll try my best, and I want to get into it. It's just going to be a slow process, but I always appreciate the support. Thank you. Okay, and then also again, go watch the watch party. These are always really fun to do, and this is a fun watch. It's a fun way to experience MCC. All right, now to get into the performances per game and, who won, etc., etc. So this is when we start to get into spoilers. 3, 2, 1. Boom. Okay, so Dodgebolt was between yellow team and red team. Yellow was expected. It was the team that's off rip before the event started, when the teams got announced, was seen as the strongest team, which makes sense. They had the strongest duo in this event, or at least what people perceived as the strongest duo, because I think actually, never mind, no, it was the strongest duo, but Shadoon and Sneeg came in very close behind as the second strongest duo in this event, which was incredible. But the other team was seen as very good, which makes sense. And then red team actually was a surprise because Shadoon and Sneeg decided to lock in. Okay, people, I must say, people kind of been underestimating these guys, including myself, because when both of them joined, I already acknowledged that they are both very capable of good performances because they are past UHC players. Shadoon recently for MCC has been locking the F in, alright? He's been doing fantastic, absolutely great performances from Shadoon. And Sneeg has been doing a good job in Minecraft events too. I think Blockwars was when he first started to like really improve his performances. He started to get a lot better, and now that's also carried over to MCC. He's been doing a lot better here too, so that's very cool. So those are the two teams that did the best and got to Dodgebolt, and red ended up winning. Dodgebolt was a really cool Dodgebolt to watch. This one was really cool. I think the most notable part of it was Impulse. Impulse absolutely cranked in the last round, but barely missed out on clutching it for his team. Almost 1v3'd, which was really sick. So, big up Impulse, okay? Dang, man, this is so close. It would have been sick if that happened, but I still think that regardless of who won, this Dodgeball was fantastic, and I think everyone should be proud of themselves for what fight they did put up in Dodgeball, because it was really cool. Anyways, time to get into the, actually no, I'll talk about every other team a little bit as well, just to give a little bit of highlights from my perspective, that we watched. Orange team, half surprisingly performed really well. I thought it was one of the favorites to maybe perform a little better than others, because they had like Purple as a lead player is very strong, and having Gem and John be relatively experienced as of recent is very helpful. And then Janet, I didn't really know too much about in terms of Minecraft skill, but Janet surprised us a lot. After 2 games, Janet was in 10th place above Curryway and Feinberg, which was insane. I don't know, at the end of the event, I don't know where Janet ended up placing. I'm sure we can find back. 27th, which is really good. So obviously, very good performance from that team. Very happy to see that they performed really well, and I really hope that someone like Janet will make a more frequent appearance in MCC, because I think they're really fun. I think she brings a really fun energy to the event, and I would love to see Janet in more Minecraft events or just MCC in general. It would be really cool. Lime team got 4th. Super proud of them for clutching it up. They seem to have a pretty fun time. Fine did a really good job. Fine was ironically in the Pals Discord, which is like one of my friend groups that we're in. He was typing in the events chat while Sandwich and I were in there like recording, so we saw that. If you watch the watch party, you'll see the parts of when that happened. I think it was after game 2, when Feinberg was entering the chat and we were just typing to him. But really good performance from them. They, I think, were in like, if we go over here, they were in like 8th, and then last game clutched 4th. Absolutely fantastic. Really good performance from that team overall. So super happy for them. Green team in 5th. Nice to see Green do well. I don't think Green was really talked about really at all, which is unfortunate because they did really good. They outperformed teams that people were way more confident in, because during the prediction stream, 6th, 7th, and 8th, Blue, Cyan, and Aqua were mentioned very frequently, and Green was mentioned pretty much never, yet they outperformed all of these teams. So I must say Green got underrated. Callum and Scott, I must say Callum is a little inconsistent in Minecraft events, no offense, of course. So Callum as a lead player was, upon the revelation of teams, a little iffy, but turned out to go really well. I don't know. Oh, Callum ended up placing 8th, so that's really good. I think Callum just locks in maybe for specifically NA Twitch Rivals events, because I was going to say Twitch Rivals, but I don't think he did that well in EU. Anyways, and Steve, also first event. I don't know how well he did, but he held on decently well, I think. He got like 35th, which is solid. We take those. Anyways, Blue team did pretty solid across the board. They were like in contention for top 2, I think, for a little bit, if I remember correctly. No, am I wrong? I am wrong. Never mind. They were not in contention for top 2, but they were like fighting for good performances throughout the event, and they did pretty decent. So I must say that props to them for that. Cyan team did like a little lower than expected. They were, they started with their worst game, and then Meltdown didn't really help, and then they slowly climbed their way back up. But Cyan was like the favorite pretty much when we were doing the prediction stream yesterday, and it was very surprising to see them perform a bit lower. But I guess it kind of makes sense. I mean, they also could have just been a bit more of a casual fun team, because it is just a group of friends goofing around, playing in a Twitch Rivals. And usually Twitch Rivals isn't really that high pressure, because there's not like a lot of money on the line to win. You're already going to get a good amount from just playing, so it's chill. Aqua team in 8th kind of makes sense. I know that Curry expressed that he didn't want to like super sweat MCC, but he did do pretty well individually, I think. Ended up placing 10th, which is a big improvement from last time. I must also mention that John got 11th, which is insane. But nice improvement from Curry from last time individually. I think this team actually worked out decently well, so that's cool. And then at the bottom we have Pink and Purple. Pink team was just good vibes, honestly. Just a little vibe team. Obviously, I already showed this. Already a great entrance and great start to the event, but just good vibes here. And then Purple team, just hung on pretty decently well. I mean, I didn't really notice too much from Purple throughout the event, so probably just just vibes, they're just vibing. Anyways, now to get into the specific games and my thoughts on them. First off, Sky Battle. This is an interesting rendition of Sky Battle, I must say. This map has a very different gameplay, I think, experience compared to some other Sky Battle maps because of how the loot table is designed, including the mineable blocks. Because we watched Yellow Team for the entire thing, which worked out well because they survived pretty much every single round, almost survived round 3, just barely lost out to Green. But Yellow Team dominated this game as expected. They have Fruit and Hannah on the same team, which is crazy. Fruit literally set the point record for Sky Battle 2 events ago, and Hannah is a Bed Wars, like, you know, pro from back in the day pretty much, which is crazy. So Fruit and Hannah, insane duo. They did really good. What they did pretty much was they Iron Manned Fruit, and then if they had the loot available, they would Iron Man Hannah. Iron Man, by the way, in a game like this is you putting your best loot on your best player to try to make it so, like, essentially, let's say you have enough, you have iron armor, you have 4 teammates. Instead of giving 1 armor piece to every teammate, you give all 4 iron armor pieces to 1 teammate and hope that that 1 teammate can get some kills. And that worked out pretty well for them. Surprisingly though, Hannah and Fruit, probably because they're a top frag duo, kind of split the points between themselves, because Hannah ended up accidentally, of course, kill stealing from Fruit, which is totally fine. I just wanted to mention it in terms of why things maybe were the way that they were. Shane did take first, which I didn't watch Shane at all. I heard that he got 17 kills, which is really good. Obviously, very impressive, but really cool to see that performance. And yeah, just again, this map, very interesting. I think the gold blocks, I feel like were underused maybe a little bit. Like, people grab them for like armor, but I feel like you could make a lot of gapples with that because you get a good amount of apples. And for the rest, I mean, Fruit and Hannah just played aggro. Who's going to push that team? Not really anyone. So they were able to steal some iron blocks as well, which is really cool. And just obviously very smart. It's just how you should play Sky Battle on this map. So pretty good performance from them. I liked it. Sky Battle was cool. We had a good POV. It was hype. It was cool. Fruit's insane. We watched Fruit's POV. Obviously, Hannah's insane too. Hannah outscored Fruit. But from our POV watching, Fruit cranked, burrowed, like pulled some crazy strats as per usual. Fantastic, classic, as to be expected from Fruit. Next up, Meltdown. For Meltdown, we ended up, I should probably pull up a game leaderboard. For Meltdown, we ended up watching Orange Team for pretty much the entire thing, or at least the majority of it. And what a great POV to pick. Orange Team was fantastic. They did so good. Obviously, Purple and John are 2 people who have proven themselves in Meltdown time and time again. So it was expected that they would do pretty well in this game. But Jem and Janet held on pretty well. Janet ended up like pulling a little clutch in, I think, round 2 or round 3, which was really nice to see. And then also the energy coming from Janet and John in this event was great. Janet was on duty, at least at the start, to mine all the gold blocks, and then ended up calling it her cheese, or at least John said it's her cheese. So I was like, okay. Janet's a mouse or a rat and wants to get her cheese. Okay, whatever. And then Purple would like mine like the like 3x3x2 chunk of blocks, and then Janet would be like, I'm a little jealous of you right now, but I'll let you get it. Like, okay. I thought it was pretty cool. I really liked it. And yeah, I mean, that team, Orange Team also, I should mention, turned out to work surprisingly well. Not surprisingly well, sorry. As well as I hoped, rather, because Gem obviously was a bit of an outlier on team reveals. People were like, why is Gem on this team, blah, 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 whatever. Apparently, Gem had expressed interest in teaming with people she hadn't teamed with before, and I think it worked out really well. I hope to see more experimental Gemini Tay teams. I think it would be really fun. So, big vouch on that, and the team was really cool. Meltdown map-wise, I mean, Meltdown has been relatively similar. I think they've added new rooms before, but maybe not. Nothing to comment on it for the rest, though. I had a good POV for Meltdown, or I watched a good POV, so I really enjoyed it. I always think Meltdown is super intense, and I think it's sick. There were some crazy shots that people landed. Shane was cross-mapping Orange Team, and I think round 2 as well, which is crazy. But yeah, anyways, Meltdown, thumbs up for me. Great start to this event. I did think it was a little silly to have the PvP games first and second, but it turned out pretty well. I think other games ended up having pretty surprising performances, and that made for a pretty interesting result. I do think that the top 3 in this event was kind of solidified after Meltdown. Because if you look at the event leaderboard, it's like, oh, yellow, orange first, second, and then red close behind, and then top 3, top 3, top 3, top 3, and then that was like a little meh, but it is what it is. You can't perfectly balance everything, and also a lot of things are situational, will just happen in a moment. So I think it was fine. Just a very, very slight bit of mehness about the event, but that's, that's nitpicking. Next up, Ace Race. New map. It was Python's Palace, and oh boy, should we mention what happened. To put it into perspective, everyone who did end up watching the event, you'll understand why this experience was tragic. We watched Shane. Obviously, going into this game, I had certain expectations. I said, because this is a new map, the people that have the best chance at performing are Shane and Purpled. Then after, because of stats and what we looked at, we found out that Shadoon had apparently been a fantastic Ace Race performer, and I didn't even realize that until yesterday. But it makes sense, Shadoon is really good at MCC now, so he held on really well, and turns out the top 3 in Ace Race pretty consistently ended up being Shane, Purple, and Shadoon. However, Shane had a pretty big lead going into the second lap. Keep in mind, there's only 2 laps in this one. So, Shane had a pretty big lead going into the second lap. I think like 5 or 6 seconds lead. And he was holding on decently well. He did a few little F-ups, but ended up still being 2 or 3 seconds ahead. Until the part where it's like the zigzag jump section where he... where there's little skip jumps to jump through a wall, and Shane made potentially the most interesting decision I've seen a man take in a race game. He went for a jump to go through the hole, and he failed the jump. He then went backwards for the speed pad, which makes sense if you're trying to attempt that jump again. To attempt the jump for the second time. He then failed it again. He then went back for the speed pad and did it a third time and eventually hit it. But that meant that both Purpled and Shadoon were able to catch up, which meant that Shane went from first, pretty much guaranteed, to third behind Shadoon and Purple. Shadoon getting first in Ace Race and Purple getting second. So that was a little unfortunate, a little sad to watch, but obviously there's a lot of factors that come into play. With Ace Race, for example. Pressure, you're on stage, also it's a new map. Shane didn't really know, maybe going just around would be faster than me attempting this back and forth, blah, blah, whatever, right? So, can't really fault Shane too much for that. But that was a very interesting thing to watch and really sad. So yeah, anyways. Ace Race, map-wise for the rest, though, I thought it was cool. I did mention during the watch party that it didn't really feel like Ace Race to me. Sandwich that it felt a bit more like Buy-in Battles race, which I think, is a fair comparison. Obviously, considering this map was just revealed, this is not changed or based off of Buy-in Battle because that time slot or the time commitment to make a new map wouldn't really align with Buy-in Battle happening. However, I did think that this map was really cool. It'll just take some time to get used to in terms of viewing experience. A long map is not something I usually think works for Ace Race, and I think, again, 3 laps is the sweet spot. It was cool as a unique experience, though, I must say, obviously, and the map looked fantastic. There were some parts in the beginning, especially, that were a little confusing. I feel like there was a slight lack of guidance of where to go, and it was kind of apparent in some people's performances. People were turned a certain way, but then realized, I have to turn 90 degrees to the left or to the right or backwards, which was a little interesting. But for the rest, I thought it was really cool. I really liked the news section. I think that will take also some time to get used to and some time for people to perfect. But I thought it was really cool, and I would love to play that. I mean, that would be really cool. Sandwich also mentioned that if MCC Twitch Rivals EU happens again next year, and we get to play, this should be the map, please, because it looks so cool. Also, I love Python scripts. I want to play Python script too, or Python's Palace, I should say. So, please. But yeah, that my review on Ace Race, pretty good. It's different, and it will take some time to get used to, but very promising start, and I think it'll only go up from here in terms of this map's experience. Next up, Hole in the Wall, which I will admit was probably my least favorite part of this event, unfortunately. One major flaw, I think, that happened with Hole in the Wall this event was that the combination of the floor, the map, and the wall pack, which is the set of walls that appear in the game, was too easy. And that became very clear when at like 20 seconds remaining in every single round, there would be like 15 people or like 20 maybe even people left. And then one wall would appear that wipes out like 15 people, which leaves like 3 of them, which was a little silly. I don't know exactly how hole in the wall scoring works. I think it is outliving people. I don't know if it's like getting eliminated after a certain wall or how that specifically works out. But having pretty much RNG for 15 placements, especially in the top half, is not ideal. Not sure how I feel about that. Actually, I am sure how I feel about that. I'm not a fan. So, yeah, didn't really enjoy that too much. Sandwich also agreed. It was, like, not great. But to be fair, I think this is just a one-time thing. I expect this to not really happen again. Because I thought Hole in the Wall was in a really good spot for the past few times that it was played. It seemed to work so well. Obviously, I'm slightly biased. I love Hole in the Wall. But Hole in the Wall used to get so much hate, and then now it's been getting a little bit better because there's been cool moments and cool plays. Kickoff was sick. Obviously, Ender Cup, EU Twitch Rivals was sick. I don't know if it was played in other events. It probably was. I just didn't really pay attention. But, like, it had so many cool plays, and then this one was just, like, just a little meh. It was my least favorite game in this event. However, Feinberg had a pretty good performance in this event, or in this game, as far as I could recall. I don't remember the exact spots or the exact performances individually per game, but I thought, you know, this was cool. I mean, in terms of performances, pretty cool. And also, we learned that Pearl had a really funny comment. She was like, "Oh, I died to lag," and usually, what happens when someone says "I died to lag," they mean, oh, I had more ping than expected, so the gameplay experience was different. However, in Pearl's case, it was the other way around. Pearl's like, oh, I died to lag, or ping. I think it was died to ping, sorry, not died to lag. I died to ping, and it's like, oh, right, yeah, she's used to having like 250 maybe ping, and now she has like 10. So, that was pretty funny. Obviously a little different gameplay experience for her there, but it turned out pretty well. And also, Green had like 2 survivors, or like a survivor in pretty much every single round, which is really really epic. I like that. It was cool. I think round 2 ended up having like 4 survivors, which was crazy, considering in EU Twitch Rivals, which was one of the most recent hole in walls I could remember, there was barely any survivors, or there would be like 1 in every single round in terms of like, you know, who's remaining at the end. So that was crazy. Anyways, next up, Grid Runners. This is the game that I don't remember really much from. It's like the one that I guess made the least impact on me, but I do recall it being a pretty fun experience in terms of just, you know, being played. Grid Runners also game 5 out of 6 is really cool to see. A 2.5x multiplied Grid Runners was pretty epic. And yeah, I mean, this game was pretty solid. We were watching Lime for most of it, and they were, you know, they went pretty quickly in the first room, then the second room was a little slower, and then they bounced back. We watched other POVs as well, because I think Twitch sent me like a 2-minute ad, which in Grid Runners means you miss out on 2 rooms. Yeah, pretty solid. I think the beginning felt like it was pretty easy. People kind of went through it very quickly, and then I think there was like a what's it called, the rails and scaffolding room that was like a little tricky for some, but watching people like Joel but completely understand how that works was really refreshing and really sick. I really enjoyed watching Joel in that. It was really cool. But yeah. Anyways, that's my thoughts on Grid Runners. I thought it was solid. I mean, Grid Runners I think is always a decent game. Fully overhated by parts of the community, mostly on Reddit. But I think Grid Runners is in design really cool. I really liked it as a game, and I would love to play it at some point. Please, because I've played the Bedrock map. I've played the Bedrock MCC anniversary crossover version, and both of those were really cool. So would love to play that at some point. It seems really fun, and again reflects in the event performance here. It was sick. Next up, and last but certainly not least, to get to the other side, where Lime Team got first, which I don't think was expected, but was very welcomed as a surprise. I thought it was really cool. To get your side played out decently well. The new zoo map was like fine. I don't think it's necessarily like anything super crazy. I feel like that type of map has already happened before, so that's why it wasn't like super different, which is fine. Obviously, like the main thing with the get your side is just not seeing the same map over and over. If it's a reskin or like a slight change of another map, that's fine, obviously. But yeah, I thought the new map was all right. For the rest, I think the golf map went a lot better than last time, obviously because people knew what they were doing, knew where they were supposed to go, and once, or at least they were a bit more used to what they were supposed to do. For the rest, like other maps went pretty well. I must say though, Fruit and Fine were punching for first until the last round, because I'm pretty sure the last round was, I think it's called Basin. It's the one where there's a bunch of platforms floating and you start in like an airship and you have to go down, like down diagonally with those platforms. And we were watching Fruit for the most part because Fruit had like 3 firsts and like a second and something close, right? So, like he had like only top 5s, pretty much, I think. And then the last round, he fell off or got punched, and then he fell off or punched again, and then it happened again, and he got like 25th, and then we tuned, this was round 5, I think, actually. Then we tuned into Feinberg, and I was like, huh, this guy's gotten third, first, like top 5 every single round. Last one comes into play, last run comes into play. We're like, oh, he's gonna get top 5 in everything. Nope, got like 9th or 7th or something. But that doesn't matter, because guess what? Feinberg got like a record in To Get Your Side. I think he ended up getting like 750 individual points, which is ridiculous. Unmultiplied, by the way. 750 unmultiplied points, which probably means that on Reefy stats, Fein's stats in the individual games is going to look absolutely diabolical. It's going to be insane. But hey, it's Feinberg. Should have been expected. Anyways, yeah, that was really cool. Really cool to see Fine also clutch up like that in this event. He was in like not top 10 for most of it, and then ended up getting 4th, which is really impressive. Obviously, To Get Your Side getting 750 points probably was a pretty big contributor to that. But and a hole in the wall being like pretty close, he did really good in that too, I'm pretty sure, or at least pretty decent. So yeah. Anyways, that's my review of this event. To Get Your Side overall, by the way, was pretty decent. I liked it. I mean, To Get Your Side is usually one of my less favorite games, but it actually worked out pretty well here. I think in the live setting, it's a bit better. So yeah, that's my overall review of the event. I think this was a really good showing again for MCC Twitch Rivals. I think this kind of hopefully solidifies it as a common occurrence, and now that we know the next TwitchCon dates, which is in late May and in mid-October in 2025, they are a bit more spread out, and I think, assuming that Twitch and MCC, or Noxford rather, are willing to do it, we could see both EU TwitchCon and EU Twitch Rivals and NA Twitch Rivals be taken up by MCC again. Hopefully. Obviously, for the EU one, I would potentially play again, and for the NA one, unless I'm invited, I probably wouldn't be playing that. So I would love to see it happen again. But yeah, I think this is a really strong showing again for Twitch Rivals. If I had to rank the Twitch Rivals so far, number 1, Twitch Rivals EU 2024. Am I biased? Yes. But also I do think that in terms of the crowd being like really engaged in it, and just the gameplay being pretty good and surprising, of course, because I ended up way outperforming my expectations. Thought it was pretty fun. So I liked the EU one the most. I think this one will rank at number 2. And then in last is Twitch Rivals or Vegas from last year. So this one, better than the NA one last time, at least. So I liked it. I thought it was cool. And this roster was really sick. I hope we can get a roster like this again, because it was so cool. I don't have... this is, I guess, the closest we're going to get to showing a full picture of the roster. But the player base for this one was sick, and I would love to see something like this again next time. Hopefully. Anyways, thank you all for watching. Let me know your thoughts on this event, and let me know your thoughts on... oh, also, I should mention before before I forget, because someone will mention it, Fruit broke 3K in 6 games. 3,000 points. Very impressive. Anyways, thank you all for watching. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your thoughts on this event and my review, and maybe this as well. And I will see you all later. Goodbye. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.